Works to order. Roll call.
Mayor Chilson,
Present.
Alderman Ron Jertson,
Here.
Alderman Harvey Bertrand,
Here.
Fred Bueller,
Here.
and Jared Holter is also here.
Okay. Notice has been duly posted. Approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Jared, seconded by Harvey to approve the minutes. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Public input. Anyone wishing to give public input, please step to, Jared, can you turn me down a little bit here? Thank you. Anybody wishing to give public input, please step to the podium, state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Charlie Vogt. I'm from Ultra at 1700 Oak Forest Drive. Just here to say thank you and offer any answers you have with our consideration today for the fiber optic project we're working on. So if you have any questions that arise, we're over here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to give public input? Second call. Anyone wishing to give public input? Third and final call. Anyone wishing to give public input? That portion is now closed. Consideration possible action on following items. Review and consideration of Ultra Federal Credit Union's fiber optic cable installation within city right-of-way along Oak Forest Drive and East Main Street. Jared.
Thank you, Your Honor. In your packet tonight, there is a request from Ultra Federal Credit Union to install fiber optic cable from their headquarters along Wilson Street, down Oak Forest Drive, along Main Street to their facilities located along East Main Street at the corner of Grandview Boulevard Drive and East Main. There is a map within your packet tonight. I've also got it up on the screen tonight. You can see where the Ultra Credit Union headquarters is right here at Wilson Street, and it's going to not work on my white background. Proceeds up along, goes around. It's a relatively long stretch along Oak Forest Drive. It's going to be along the right-of-way between 157 and Oak Forest Drive, and then proceed under the bridges at US 53, and then proceed along past Greens Coulee Road to their facility. There are, in your packet tonight, there are maps of each section of the route. We have also included a DOT permit that the applicant has obtained for the project to cross under the DOT right-of-way. Basically, tonight, staff is okay with this installation. This is a newer installation for us. We have a lot of current carriers that provide service within the city, such as Charter, CenturyLink. We also approved a Wisconsin Independent Network installation a few months ago. With that, this is the first private entity that we've had request connection of their buildings. With that, I think if we approve this, which I see no reason not to, we would approve it with the conditions of the permit of approval that the DOT gave the applicant. So it's got indemnification, the construction, they've got to meet the MUTCD codes for construction, replace anything that they have, they would damage during construction. The only other two conditions that I would have is that the facility would be maintained at no cost to the city, and that also that the city maintain the right to have the utility relocated or removed at the owner's expense. So that way, if we have to do a project such as at Greens Coulee Road and the fiber optic cable would have to be relocated, that would not be at the city expense. I guess with that, I'd open up for questions.
Do we have those written down anywhere, those conditions?
We do not. I guess I'd offer a motion to approve the Ultra installation of their fiber optic cable with the conditions as listed on their Wisconsin DOT permit, and also two conditions that state maintained at no cost to the city, and also that the city maintains the right to have the utility relocated or remove it at owner's expense.
Second.
Okay, second. Did you want to say something? Okay, go ahead.
Said that the conditions are that if something is damaged, it's on Ultra's liability.
That is correct.
The liability if something happens, like a gas line gets hit or a high voltage line gets hit, and we got an explosion and a fire, how is that covered?
By citing the DOT permit. The DOT permit includes a half a page of indemnification, which would be included in my motion.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Anybody else? Hearing no other questions, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? Motion carries. Jared, you might want to make sure that we have those typed up and given to, so that in case they miss it in the transcription.
Yep.
Okay, item 5, review and consideration of 2018 pavement maintenance.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tonight I have included items A through F under pavement maintenance. This is a yearly set of pavement maintenance items that we perform on a yearly basis. Also included tonight, I have handed out a spreadsheet of the 2018 pavement maintenance, including project costs in the upper columns that total $369,506. And then we also have the bottom funding sources that totaled $369,553. So as an overview of all these projects A through F that are listed tonight, those would be the project costs and the funding sources. When you look at the project costs, we are looking at the bottom of the funding sources under the 2017 pavement project, capital projects number 12 and 21. We are proposing to use $43,000 in funds that were saved from the 2017 general fund paving projects on the utility project and the paving project. We did save approximately $200,000 in general funds on those projects. We're going to redirect some of those funds so we can do a little more chip seal and actually more crack filling fiber patch that you see within the projects tonight. So just as an overview, that is the funding sources for all of the projects tonight, an overview A through F. We'll proceed to item A, which is purchase of fiber patching material. When the packet went out, I did not have the quote at that time from Sherwin Industries. I have handed out a quote tonight for your use from Sherwin Industries. They are the low provider of the semi-load of fiber patching material at $19,687.50.
Do we make a motion for each item? How does that work?
Typically, we do each item.
Yeah, we should take each item separately.
Motion to approve?
Are you making that in the form?
I'll make that in the form of a motion, yes.
Second that.
Harvey will second. Purchase fiber patching material to Sherwin Industries in the amount of $19,687.50. Ron?
We used this company before.
We have purchased from both of these companies over the past 7 years. Kind of goes back and forth. 1 year, one of them's cheaper. Next year, it's kind of a cutthroat supply business.
The one is supplying, Midwest is supplying a little more material.
This is actually, when I figured the price, I figured 45,000 pounds. It'll be an oddball amount whenever we get on the semi.
As long as we've used them before and the material's fine.
Yep.
That's all I need to know.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor of item A, the motion for A, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? Motion carries. Item B,
Item B, installation of fiber patching material. So we have two quotes for installation of that material. We just are going to purchase with the city funds. We have Farner asphalt sealers at $1.59 a pound, and La Crosse Highway Department at $1.79 a pound. La Crosse Highway Department does bill usually a little bit lower once this is an estimated cost, but I think the Farner asphalt sealers at $1.59 will be the lower cost in the end. So it's staff's recommendation to have Farner asphalt sealers perform the fiber patching crack filling services at $1.59 a pound using the 45,000 pounds of material that we'll be purchasing. That's $71,550.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Ron, seconded by Harvey to approve Farner for the installation of fiber patching material at at $1.59 a pound for 45,000 pounds for a gross cost of $71,550. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Item C.
Asphalt pavement expansion joints. We've been doing this for about the last 20 years. When we get done paving streets, we install a asphalt joint that we fill with crack filling material. We do this before the first winter, so that way then the street has a place to contract and during the winter freeze-thaw cycle. With that, this year we have a lot of paving projects. We're doing more saw seal than we normally do with these paving projects, with the state project on Riders Club Road and PH and Braun, plus the paving of East Main. We did receive a price from Farner Asphalt Sealers of $239 a lineal foot. That is 3% higher than the last year's cost. They are the only contractor that we contract with for this service. Once again, staff is recommending to do approximately 17,000 lineal feet at the cost of $239 for a total project cost of $40,630.
Motion to approve.
Second
Motion
that.
made by Ron to approve,
Second that.
seconded by Harvey to approve soft seal from item C. Award the bid to Farner for 17,000 linear feet at $2.39 per linear foot for a total of $40,630. Questions? Comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Item 9, or
Chip.
D, I should say.
Chip seal, 2018 chip seal. We have included a breakdown of the streets that we are proposing to chip seal along with maps tonight. We have contracted for approximately the last 20 years to have La Crosse County do this work. They have given us an estimated price of $1.50 per square yard for granite chip cover over the emulsion chip seal. We are looking at doing 127,800 square yards at a total project cost of $191,748.
Is that in the form of a motion?
I would make that in the form of a motion, Your Honor.
Second that.
Motion made by Jared, seconded by Harvey to award the chip seal project at $1.50 a square yard for 127,000 square yards, or $191,748 to the County of La Crosse. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Item E.
Centerline painting, we had two quotes given. Farner Asphalt Series was at 6.35 cents per foot, and Twin City Striping was at 6.1 cents. Staff's recommendation to go with Twin City Striping, approximately 180,000 lineal feet at a cost of $10,980. Make that in form of a motion.
Second that.
Okay, just let me get that. You were talking faster than I can write. So it's Twin
Twin City
Cities.
Striping at a cost of 6.1 cents per lineal foot, 180,000 lineal feet for a total cost of $10,980.
How many lineal feet?
180,000.
Okay, thank you.
And we have used both of these providers in the past.
Okay. So Jared made the motion. Harvey, did you second?
Yes,
Okay.
I think.
To award the bid for striping to Twin City Striping at $6.01 per linear foot for 180,000 linear feet for a grand total of or a gross total of $10,980. Discussion.
You wanna read that amount per linear foot again, Joe?
$6.01?
6.1 cents per foot.
Oh, excuse me, yes. Thank you. 6.1 cents, excuse me.
Typo.
Okay, thanks. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Yeah, you write too fast sometimes. Center line striping. Item F, North Kinney Cooley joint repair.
As you know, included with our capital improvements budget this year, we had an item for joint repair at North Kinney Cooley Road. That project was started with panel replacement and was started at $125,000. We reduced that to $25,000. We did have Farner Asphalt Sealers go out and look at the joints out in that area, provide us a quote on that work. They actually performed some of this work on River Valley Drive in the City of La Crosse, out toward County B, going toward the old Fleming site on River Valley Drive. The work worked out very well. It was the same type and style of work that we need to have done, where they'll be not only sealing the joints, but the thicker joints, larger holes. They'll be filling with a mastic material, getting something in there, so if you don't just fill it with crack filler, it'll actually bleed out, and if you get a larger hole, it'll actually press down in the summer. This should take care of our joints out there, get our concrete to last longer. So with that, it's staff's recommendation to hire Farner Asphalt Sealers to do the joint repair for $34,910.
$34,910.
Correct.
Okay. Jared made the motion. Is there a second? Second by Ron. To approve Farner Asphalt to do the joint repair on North Kinney Cooley at a gross cost of $34,910. Questions? Comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Item 6, review and consideration of professional engineering services for 2018 supervisory control and data acquisition, SCADA, system upgrades. Jared.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is year 2 of a 3-year process. We actually came in 2 years ago and did the original study at looking at improving our current SCADA system, which was installed approximately 2008. As you know, this controls all of our remote sites within our utility system, wells, reservoirs, lift stations, storm lift station, at all these sites. This would encounter Strand to assist us with the upgrades. This would be the design of the specifications and working with the supplier to get shop drawings and answer the questions, conduct a site visit to ensure that all the components were installed correctly. Some of the key components that are going in as part of this project would include the PLC replacement, which is the brain box at the stations. A lot of those are 10 years old now. They're getting to the end of their useful life. We're also adding some local control at well number 9 so we can actually change the set points at the well. That was not included in the original project at well number 9. And also replacing UPS power supplies at all the stations. When the power goes out, we won't lose control of the station. So with that, it's our recommendation to have Strand help us with this. We did have Strand originally perform the design of the original project, and we did have them do phase 1 of the current SCADA upgrade project last winter, and it was performed last summer. Everything went very well in that project. That'd open up for questions.
Is there a value of this?
$18,000 was the cost of the design, and it's in the $19,000. It's in the second page of the
Okay.
owner review draft task order.
Okay. Are there any questions? If not,
Yeah, I have a question. We're talking about the various components and the PLCs, et cetera. Are there any, let's say, new technologies on the horizon that are going to, whatever that might be in terms of revolutionary, let's say, technology that someday is going to say, hey, we got to replace all this because it's going to function better?
I think currently everything's wireless via radio transmitter currently. We used to be hooked by landline telephone lines. I'm sure there's some sort of cell phone technology that could shoot the, but then you're dependent on the cell phone network also. One of the beauties of what we have with our current system is if we have the standby generator running at the site, which most of the sites have, we're self-sufficient. We can communicate back to the Public Works facility. We do have a repeater on top of the hill at the Wells Street Reservoir. That's wired in. We take a generator up the hill if we lose power for more than a short period of time. So with that, this is the most stable system we've found at this point. I do not know of any technology that's on the horizon that would replace it. We would probably look at new technologies if we were going to replace the entire system. When we did this project in 2008 and replaced the landlines with the new PLCs, the antennas, the actual components within the remote sites and the programming that was done for this, it was about $450,000. But it's so important to have this because we depend on it. For instance, now I get, there's 6 of us hooked up to it, not only the on-call phone. When something calls out for a failure, I get a message on my phone. So it's a very robust and somewhat complicated system, though. I wouldn't call it fragile, but it is complicated. Has a lot of electrical components, and that is the reason we have the electrical engineer from Strand assist us, because it's outside of the engineering department or utility staff. We can fix certain things on the system, but we really need them to help us ensure that we're getting what we're asking for.
Question. So I suppose you're satisfied with the security aspects of it?
Yeah, we have, over the years, one of the reasons we replaced our SCADA system in 2008 with a rudimentary SCADA system we had is because we didn't do a radio path survey the first time we did it, and we were having problems with it calling out, and you get leaves on the trees and things like that that would interrupt the signal, and we had problems with it. It's been kind of knock on wood the last few years. It's been very sturdy, and we haven't had any real issues with it. We always get, I know at like Country Club Reservoir, you get snow melt and snow blows in, the panel might get some water in it or something might happen and things happen. But we're trying to be proactive here so we don't have to be doing things where we call up the provider. Our provider is LW Allen Electronics out of Madison. It's a lot easier if we can be proactive replacing items than paying them to come up and fix one item at a time. So we're trying to be ahead of the curve with what we're doing here. It only takes one lift station call out, as probably the mayor remembers being at 6th and Quincy a few years ago. We got called out, plugged pump, got called out, got staff out there right away, went to pull the pump out, the other pump clogged, both pumps were down, had to call pump trucks. We actually had to do a bypass at that point. But if we wouldn't have had the call out as proficiently as what occurred, it could have been a lot worse. So,
Thank you.
Basically, it's the eyes and ears. Lets you see. I'm familiar with that type of system with the PLCs. How you can virtually be in China and be able to see what's going on. Yeah. Might not be able to do anything from China, but you know that we're going over the top.
Yep.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, we need a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made by Harvey, seconded by Ron, to approve Strand Associates in the amount of $19,000 to take care of the SCADA upgrades. Correct?
correct.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Item 7, review and consideration of professional forestry services for updating urban forest management plan. Jared.
This is included within your packet tonight, the service agreement from Blue Stem Forestry. This would update the current urban forestry management plan. Our original plan is dated from 2009. We've had a lot of changes in that plan since that time. We've removed 1,500 plus ash trees, replaced a majority of those with new trees. This current project would not only update the urban forestry management plan, but would include a new strategic planning plan that would include places where it would be viable to plant more city trees to increase our urban canopy. I will note that half of this cost is being participated in by the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources with a grant that was secured by Katie Aspenson from our planning department.
In the amount of?
This work would be in the amount of $11,500 from Blue Stem Forestry.
11,500?
Correct, $11,500.
Okay, thank you. And who's the vendor?
Blue Stem Forestry.
Blue Stem?
Blue Stem.
Goose down.
Blue Stem Forestry Consulting. And we have worked, this is the vendor that actually did our original plan back in 2009.
Okay, so we have a motion by Jared,
Second.
second by Ron to approve Blue Stem Forestry in the amount of $11,500 for urban forestry management plan. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Item 8, review and consideration of downtown parking, including handicap parking. Jared.
Included in your packet tonight, I have an email from Matt Boschka, the owner and operator of the David Ray's Restaurant in downtown district of Onalaska. Also within the packet, I've included a aerial photo that I've got up on the screen also that shows our downtown with the area that is now Dash Park and David Ray's. And also with that, a color map that shows our downtown parking restrictions that were revised in June of 2014. In the downtown area, we have a variety of parking structures, parking ordinances in effect that regulate parking. We've got a variety of no parking from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Then overriding during the day, we've got some 2-hour parking, 1-hour parking. We've got some 15-minute loading zones. We've got a kind of a real mix of parking restrictions in our downtown. So what this request is for 2 handicap stalls in our downtown district. Currently, we do not have any of these. Currently, our municipality does not have any on-street handicap parking other than what we have for either special events or special circumstances. We will put it out on a request if something is particularly happening. If you actually looked across the street on 5th Avenue, the school district every once in a while, Perch School gets a individual that has a teacher that has something going on. We put some temporary signs out. We actually have some of them out now. I have seen other municipalities that do have on-street handicap parking. So I guess this is kind of coming in front of the board because it's been requested for the downtown area. Obviously, downtown, any handicap parking, biggest concerns is taking off already very used downtown parking stalls. If you go down there at any point in time, these areas are parked up. The other thing would be is that they would be usable for anyone using their handicap license plates or sticker that could be using any of the downtown services, which could be Dell's, it could be Pappas Insurance, it could be David Ray's, it could be Sue Colby's salons. They're not for one specific business. It would be for the businesses in general. Typically, what we do on these, if the board would so choose, is if this is thought to be an idea that you'd like to at least look at and move forward with, at least in the preliminary phase, would be to invite all the downtown, in this area, be downtown, but all of the property owners in the area, invite them in and have a public hearing at the next meeting to elicit input on what their thoughts would be on this. So I guess staff's looking for direction after the request. With that, I'd open it up for questions.
I would just go ahead and make a motion that we would bring them businesses in and let's have the discussion.
Public hearing, is that what you're saying? Yeah?
Yep.
I'll second that. Is that a motion?
It is a motion.
I'll second that.
Well,
Yeah, okay.
motion by Ron, seconded by Harvey to open up a public hearing at the next Board of Public Works meeting.
Correct. Which is April 3rd.
April 3rd.
Question?
Okay, go ahead.
I guess, one question I have is, would there would there be any compelling reason not to put it out there?
I guess if you wanted to listen to the input from the businesses, I think there's enough use down there for the current parking stalls, and I think the handicapped parking stalls, if we kept them at 1 or 2, are going to be just as filled as the parking stalls that are currently in that area. So I don't see them not being used. Since the downtown on-street parking is some of the closest parking to a lot of these establishments, whether it's Colvin's Dental Clinic or Sue Colby's or David Ray's, it probably is a justifiable thing to have some handicap parking down there. I think it's just a matter of what is their correct number in the area.
Okay.
Thank you.
There was quite a bit of discussion on Dave Scogan's restaurant down there on parking. Went on for quite a while. That was one of the items that we did discuss several times with Dave, if he was going to be putting any on his lot.
And currently, the downtown area does have handicapped parking designated at the Great River Landing. So there's approximately 4 stalls, I think, at the Great River Landing, might be 5, 4. Well, yeah, there's 4 at the Great River Landing, and then the new lot where the Braun Lumber used to sit, there's another 5, I think, over there. So there is 8 or 9 handicap stalls in the downtown area, but they're not in close proximity to the downtown businesses.
But I remember having a discussion about whether he was going to supply his own, because
Okay.
there was back and forth with the limited amount of stuff he has to work with.
Correct.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to take this to public hearing. All in favor signify. In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Those opposed? Abstentions? So we'll take it to public hearing on the 3rd of April. Item 9, review and consideration of bids received for 2018 utility projects. Jared?
We are actually bidding this project at the next Tuesday. It would be 11 a.m. at the council meeting, which would be, not at the council meeting, but the day of the council meeting, which would be March 13th. This project, I have included the bid tabulation, the engineer's estimate within the project packet tonight for the meeting. The engineer's estimate on this project is $1,925,000, which is within about $20,000 of what the engineer's estimate is $1,950,525. We have $1,925,000 in the capital improvements budget for the projects. With that, typically we have seen that we get bid prices that are under the engineer's estimate. That is our hope and with the project. We do have 8 prime plan holders at this time, which is a very good number. I would anticipate 5 to 6 bidders next Tuesday on this project. We've had a lot of interest in the project from a variety of general contractors that would be prime bidders. I anticipate that we should get some pretty decent prices on this project. It's pretty condensed work all in one spot, so it's we should get some good numbers. But we will be opening those bids at next Tuesday. I will be bringing these forward to the council meeting and handing out the bid tabulations of the bids at the council meeting, asking for approval at the council meeting.
So we don't need any,
You don't need any action now, it's for
Action right
information,
now.
but it'll be an action item on the council meeting.
okay, good.
Thanks.
Item 10, review and consideration of bids received for 2018 miscellaneous concrete projects.
This is also another item that will be bid next Tuesday at 10 a.m. The engineer's estimate is included for miscellaneous concrete project. This is a relatively smaller project. $50,600 is the engineer's estimate. We do have, well, actually the monies are budgeted within the storm sewer budget and the 2018 capital improvements budget for sidewalk replacement. We do have 4 plan holders currently. We anticipate 2 to 3 bids. We will be bringing these bids also forward to the council meeting. Normally, we try and open these the day of the Board of Public Works. I do apologize for that, but with the amount of these projects and also the $1 million paving project, Kevin, our assistant city engineer, we do design these in-house. These have taken up a lot of time and trying to get them out the door. We want to bid them and get them awarded so we can get good prices. I felt if we waited till April for these projects, it would hinder our bids that would come in. We'd lose a few bidders. So, information only again, Your Honor.
Okay, and so item 12,
Thanks, Jared.
11.
or 11, the urban forestry program.
This is also a bid that is out for bid next Tuesday at 1 p.m. This is actually a variety of urban forestry topics. As you know, the urban forestry items did get deleted from the 2018 budget, but we are performing a variety of plantings around the Greens Coulee Stormwater Pond, utilizing stormwater funds. We are doing $9,800 of the citizen request trees that we do every year with funds we had left over from the 2017 urban forestry program. We are planting trees along the 2017 utility project. This is something we've done for many years. We go in after we get the street done, go back in and plant trees to try to get the, we know that we're not gonna be back in that neighborhood for a long time, so those trees can grow, become healthy urban forestry. And then also we've got about 200 trees that are marked for removal, just some diseased trees, a few ash trees that are left around the city, trees that are urban, our last urban forestry update of the tree inventory showed that should be removed, so our street department will be removing them. We have stump grinding within that bid. So once again, we'll be bringing that forward at the next council meeting for award. And on that, we have, I didn't write it down, I think we've got 4 plan holders, and I would expect to get 1 or 2 bids on that project, probably. That's
Okay.
information,
Motion
unless
to
you have
approve.
questions.
We don't need a motion there, but
Nope.
on the next one, we will.
Yep.
Review and consideration of parking along the 300 and 400 blocks of Mason Street. Jared.
Thank you. In your packet tonight, I have included a email from Deb Taylor, who is the manager at the Eagle Crest facility along Mason Street. In your packet tonight, I've also included a map of the current parking restrictions, which I've also put on the screen tonight. I'll just read part of the email from Deb Taylor. It says, as you are aware, I've had a few residents complain about the lack of visibility when pulling out of our driveway from oncoming traffic approaching from the left. I have even had a few staff members complain. These incidents happen when the area is more congested during the day as opposed to nighttime. So if you look at our map tonight, you can see there's 4 areas of no parking delineated on that map in the area of Eagle Crest driveway, the driveways going into the YMCA, and LB White. When the YMCA, the street was put in 2006, 2007, 2008, we had discussions with the YMCA as it gained popularity on parking of the street along there, and once Eagle Crest was built. At that time, city staff spent time with YMCA director looking at parking along Mason Street, looked at these areas, actually went out in the field with the YMCA staff and delineated where no parking could go. Obviously, the YMCA has a rather large parking lot, but they have large events at the facility. They would really like to keep their on-street parking as an option. Currently, if you go by there during the day, there is quite a bit of on-street parking there. Just the convenience factor, if you look at the map, if you park in the far end of the parking lot, it's further to the door than from the on-street parking. If you look on the map that you see tonight, the area, I can't get it to work. If you look at the area that is between the LB White driveway and the Eagle Crest driveway, this is the area that is in question tonight. So when you have cars that are coming down the Eagle Crest driveway, coming down to make a movement out of their driveway, they have trouble seeing traffic coming from the east making this movement. So they're requesting that this parking be taken off. It is approximately 5 or 6 stalls, depending on how tight people park in there. Once again, this is one that was brought forward. Typically, these would have a public hearing, invite people, the property owners in the area to come in and discuss it if we so choose. Tonight, I guess with that, I'd open it up for questions.
I think it's quite ironic that people go to the Y to work out and they can't park in the lot. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that the reason they're parking there is because it's closest to the door. There's got plenty of parking in the lot.
I frequent the Y pretty frequently, and
Park on the street, Harvey?
I've never had any trouble finding a parking spot in the parking lot. And so, in terms of, in general, having any constraint parking-wise out there, at least I've never experienced it, and it seems as though we should be pretty aggressive in making it as safe as we can coming down that drive. And if we need to, you know, not only between those two, you know, no parking areas there now, but other areas along that street, if we need to make those no parking for safety purposes, seems as though that logic would compel us to do that. Although but your recommendation is for us to have a public hearing on this, right?
That is what the route that we typically go, is invite everyone in to discuss it and at least give everyone their day to listen to what their concerns are.
Yeah. Mr. City Administrator, you are a member of the Y. Do you ever have trouble parking? Okay. Ron?
Yeah, I would be for a discussion on it. But my question, you know, if I'm familiar with those two driveways, there's some topography involved, isn't there?
There is, with the driveway coming off of Eagle Crest. So this driveway is probably 6% grade going up and down. It's of incline, so when you're coming down, it does flatten out toward the bottom, and obviously the sidewalk section and the driveway are relatively flat. But the first 50, 75 feet are a couple percent grade, but then it does start quite an incline.
If you're looking to the east, you're coming down and you're looking to the east, you're not seeing until you're on the flat spot if you've got traffic.
Correct, and there is a large, right where the cursor is on your map here on the screen, there is a higher elevation with some pretty dense vegetation, trees and stuff, so you really can't see anything until you get down to the road.
And I'm just looking at it, and my memory serves me. I've never been up there, but if I was coming down, I wouldn't expect to be able to see until I'm on the flat, which means what's it really do for you if you're changing the parking?
If you are parked right here waiting to get out, the first couple, there's approximately 3 stalls here that are gone where you could park up to the driveway. So if the car was approximately here, about halfway through on the street, you'd probably be able to see it. And we could run there's a calculation we could do for stopping sight distance that we could run for what is this angle, what is this distance, what is the speed, and it would tell you approximately what the suggested distance that you should be seeing. That is part of what went into kind of when we did these in the first place. I think what's happening is you're seeing a couple different factors. You're probably seeing a little bit of speed, and you're probably seeing the fact that some of the Eagle Crest people that are residents, reaction times due to their age is probably not what it would be, the standard would be. So I know I think that is probably part of what goes into it. Does it meet the standard for what the sight distance would be? It'd be pretty close.
I wouldn't know. Would you be willing to bring that information, put it in my box? I'd like to look at it.
We can put it in with the packet for next month.
Yeah, good. That would be,
That'd be helpful.
Yeah.
And I think you said it with reaction time versus the drivers.
And I think this will probably come out in the hearing, but my main concern would be that we err on the side of safety. And if we err on the side of safety, we're not doing anybody any harm.
What hearing?
I'm all about that.
Oh, I thought we were gonna have a hearing on this. We're not?
We don't have a motion yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were.
I mean, I'm okay with it, but we have to have a motion.
So what is the motion? Or, is,
Motion for a public hearing.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion for a public hearing
Okay.
regarding this issue.
Okay.
I think Ron already made the motion.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought you were questioning.
No, no,
Seconded.
no.
and you'll second it. Okay, good.
Got a second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Abstentions? So moved. So we'll have that also on April 3rd?
Correct.
Okay. Item 14, review and consideration of city-owned lands at 300,
13.
Need to do 13.
13. Review and consideration of professional engineering services for French Road, Crestwood Lane area preliminary report feasibility study for water booster station. Jared?
Okay, as you know, I've put on the map in your packet tonight. We, is kind of, other ones, we got a color one in there tonight in your packets, so, but I actually put it up on the screen also so you can see it. The area that is shown in the orange line, I guess it is the service area that would be served by the proposed booster station out in the French Road, Crestwood area. Back in 2007, the city had SEH perform a feasibility study, and making sure that our system could handle the booster station out there and looking at what it would take pressure-wise and fire flows to make sure it would work. Since then, there's been the French Valley Development came in and had received plat approval back in 2007 and has been receiving an extension on their plat for the last 10 years. The French Valley area is this area right in here at the end of French Road. We also have the Mansky Farm, which is down at Crestwood Lane. And there's also some land on top of the hill that's owned by Jacob Birch. And we also have lands on the south and east side of Highway 16 that's owned by the Nicolais. With this area, Mr. Mansky is looking at developing his parcel currently, and I think he's very close to trying to move forward with some sort of development with that land. And also we have the French Road, French Valley development that is still receiving plat approval, and I think they're actually looking at what to do with their land. So in this area, we currently have the regular service zone, which is down in Emerald Drive along 16, serves into the La Crosse Industrial Park, that once you get above elevation 790, which is the blue line on your handouts tonight, we go into our secondary zone. So in order to serve water in these areas, we actually have to have either a booster station or an interconnection to the existing secondary zone that serves over in the country club. So at this time, the most feasible option for servicing this area is the installation of a booster station. With that, Davy Engineering has been working with the developer, Mr. Mansky, and Jacob Birch on their portions of the developments in this area. So they're looking and requesting what to do with water service. With this, what we're proposing tonight is to look at having Davy Engineering assist the city in a siting of the proposed booster station in this area, assisting with calculations on how to fairly distribute an assessment district or cost to these areas based upon either acreage, number of hookups, something on that order. So then it could be looked at on how this booster station would be paid for in this area. With this tonight, the cost of this proposal is $7,500. I would propose that this would be taken out of the funded 2018 water utility contractual budget. In looking at this, we do typically have developers previously in the city, developers incur a lot of the cost for these studies, for this work, for the installation of infrastructure to serve their developments. With this, what we would look at is once we got done with this study, if this moves forward and an area is delineated and a project goes forward, we'd add the cost of the study back into the overhead of the booster station, including the engineering design work and all the costs that would go into putting in a booster station. I think we really have a chicken and egg here. It's been that way since 2007 with the French Valley development. I think this would move this area forward for development, getting the process of knowing exactly how much the costs would be, getting the developers on board and looking at getting this area developed. With Davie Engineering's experience with the developer in this area, engineering staff is looking to move forward with Davie Engineering. We're comfortable with them. They have performed work such as this, and Greens Coulee, they designed the Greens Coulee booster station that's in Aspen Valley. So I guess with that, I'd open it up for questions.
Did we need to make an emotion here first, or are you making a
Yes.
motion?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
motion
second-
would be-
I second that.
I would make that in form of a motion, correct?
Second.
Okay, the motion is, let me just make sure I got this straight. It's for $7,500 siting booster station and assessment district study by Davie Engineering that will come out of the 2018 water utility contract budget,
Contractual budget, correct.
contractual budget. Okay. I got it right anyway, so. Now,
Jared, the area under consideration would be the dark angular yellow.
Correct.
line.
Everything within the orangish yellow line is a service area. We'd actually be serving, kind of the 790 line is the blue line, but we would actually service areas that are possibly below that, just the way the water system would work. Get my cursor going here. So there'd be areas where we'd probably be serving in Timbercrest, even though it's right on the cusp of the 790 line. We'd look at the house elevations, so that's how we got to the orange line that you see today.
My question then would be, are we pretty secure in the assumption that there aren't any areas in the future, likely in the future, outside that area that we also should include?
I think when we looked at the service area, you look at the orange line. I'm going to get the cursor going again here. Maybe there you go. The Elmwood Partners has been developing the country club, and they have a preliminary plat in for this area right in here, and they have not put the improvements in there yet, but they have preliminary plat approval. They have 1,500 gallons per minute fire flow with their current system up to this area here. So that's how we put the assessment district starting here to ensure that they will get 1,500 gallons per minute of fire flow with the addition of the new booster station. Really, we can't serve anything farther south. It's all the landfill. We can't go that way. And if we go over, this is Nathan Hill here. In order to go over the hill and go to the, call it the other side of the Nathan Hill, that would include a whole nother set of probably booster station reservoirs, lift stations. It would be all its own assessment district if it would ever come forward. So in answer to your question, short answer is I'm relatively pretty certain of the assessment district being correct.
Thank you.
Ron, do you have something?
This is just $7,500 for a study, and you said that that usually gets worked into the plan so that the developer winds up absorbing it.
We would put it into the assessment district, just like the cost of engineering work to design the booster station and the construction of it.
So it's budget neutral for us. Mr. City Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess to further answer your question, Harvey, as Jared was talking about, the cost substantially increase to oversize this particular district, this particular system for those futures that may or may not come in, and we'd be having a per unit cost that would price this out of development. Not to say that we couldn't go beyond that one, but those additional properties beyond that should bear those particular costs. And does it make it developable or not? That's a future question down the road to ask. But in order to keep this within the range that we could develop, we really kind of need to restrict it to what's feasible.
Thank you.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor by Jared, seconded by Harvey. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Hey,
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Item 14. Put these back on. Review and consideration of city-owned lands at 300 13th Avenue South designated for future cemetery expansion.
Thank you, Your Honor. At the last council meeting, this was brought up for discussion, so really not knowing the exact committee to bring it forward, we thought Board of Public Works would be a good spot to start a discussion on this item. In this, now I have included in your packet tonight 2 maps. One outlines the current city cemetery at Main Street between 12th and 13th and up to Hickory Street. Currently, we've got approximately 13.6 acres in that area. We also have the parcel at 313th Avenue South that's south of Hickory Street. That's another 2.3 acres. I guess with that, I kind of just go through my memo I have included in the packet tonight and kind of read some of the highlights out of that. Originally, the parcel at 313th Avenue South was purchased for $180,000 with regards to possible cemetery improvements, addition of saleable graves. As pointed out in my memo, no dates have been established or approved for such cemetery expansion since the purchase of the property. Some of my bullet points that are there, we did kind of look at what we could get for lots out of that area based upon what we have in the existing southern section of the cemetery. We feel that we can get approximately 528 traditional grave lots, not including the Hickory Street right-of-way if that was vacated and turned into part of the cemetery. At the current 2018 grave cost, that would bring in revenue of approximately $433,000. With that, the second bullet point, if we wanted to develop this site at 313th Avenue South into the cemetery site for internment-ready lots, we're estimating between $75,000 and $100,000 to do this work. We could reduce that if city staff perform part of the work. As you know, at the site, we'd have to do a variety of things. We'd have to grade the site, remove the vegetation, remove the trees, reestablish turf on the site, put in some driveways and access ways, paved access ways to get to the lots, everything like that. So we would be incurring some costs that would be needed to develop this. City did look at this parcel at the first time back in 2007. The city did pay for an appraisal at this site. Part of that appraisal process, it looked at this site at 313th Avenue South as to what could be done with it. And they looked at an income approach and they looked at a sales approach. Part of their income approach was the appraisal at the time figured that they could get 8 city residential lots out of this site. There'd be development costs with that to get city infrastructure, sanitary sewer, water mains, city street stubbed into the site, things such as that. We were estimating $50,000 to $75,000 as part of this process of looking at the site. Part of that, though, the sanitary sewer does not serve the sites real well, so that might be a cost that might be an increase of that. If you look at city lots going today, looking at a range of $50,000 to $70,000, you know, so if you use that range, I give you a range of probably what you could look at if the site was developed into residential lots. I think if the assessor looked at assessable lots, probably the tax base on those lots for the lots themselves would not probably be quite that high, but it'd be relatively close. We did not look at what tax base, what homes would be put on there, but we just looked at what the lots would be. Just to give you an idea, the current cemetery has approximately 1,249 remaining grave lots, not counting infant lots and not counting some of the few scattered lots that are really kind of unsaleable. We have a variety of lots on the hillside in the front of the cemetery and things like that. Looking at the current absorption rate in the cemetery, Last year, we had almost 75 lots, but that's because we opened up a new section of the cemetery. The year before that, we had 37 lots, 35 lots. I'm estimating 50 per year. I think that is probably pretty close. It might be a little bit on the higher sales side, depending on what's happening. With that, if you take that simple math, that means we've got about 25 years of saleable lots left in the cemetery. So there haven't been any studies on the current cemetery as far as uses of the cemetery, a master plan, or future cemetery sites. So I guess with that, kind of offer that up for discussion and see where we'd like to head with this. I think it's more of a discussion point than anything.
I think we need to,
Do we need to make a motion, or?
no, I think we need to move this
So,
to the council.
If that's what the board would like, we could definitely put it on
I
for
don't-
council.
That's the kind of motion I would like to make, that we move this to the full council. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded that we move the discussion of the cemetery expansion to the full council. All in favor signify by saying, oh, hold it. Discussion. Go ahead, Harvey.
I very strongly believe we should, there's nothing wrong in discussing it tonight. To begin the, you know, if we're going to forward it to the council, we should at least begin discussing it tonight. So I would vote no in terms of moving it straight forward to straight to the council.
Okay. Anybody else? None? Go ahead. Oh. No, once the motion is approved, it moves on to the council. Okay? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay?
Nay.
Motion carries. Item 15, pay estimates from Strand Associates and others. Jared.
We have the two estimates in your packet tonight.
To approve.
Second.
Motion by Fred? Was that by Fred? I'm sorry, I was looking down. Motion by Fred, seconded by Jared to approve the pay estimates. And how many are there, Jared?
There are two.
2. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hey,
Opposed, nay? Abstentions? So moved.
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Ron,
Second?
second by Harvey. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Abstentions? We stand adjourned at 8:37. Thank you.
7:37.
What?
7:37.
Oh, I didn't set my thing back.